everything is not overkill, believe me. If anything, when I change the heads, I might have to beat things up even more. We'll see. I used this rod to tighten down the spring so I could pull out the keepers, and it really didn't work. It bent. I'm going to build a wedge underneath it and try to level it out some so it don't pull on it like the wrong way, you know, and bend it. So let's see what happens. I think I can pull this off. It has a new cam, and it's like 530 or 560 thousandths lift. That means you got to use a heavy-duty spring on it. You can't use a stock spring. So what we did was we pulled one of the springs off so we could get measurements and order the right springs, which we did do, and it took, we had to order 3 different companies and finally get the right springs. But we got the right springs, and we had a hard time getting, you know, I didn't want to put air in it and leave it sitting overnight with the compressor running, so I stuck parachute rope in it and then turned the motor over to hold the valves in place, all right? So, and that works. Trying to pull the valve out, get the keepers out, we were snapping and bending threaded rod, which was grade 8 bolts that we cut the heads off of. It was good stuff, but it wasn't working, it was breaking, and the tool wasn't working right. So then I bought some cheapy tool. Of course, it's bending it now too, but they're not breaking, but it's bending it. I'm able to get the keepers out, I'm able to, so I got to turn the motor over just a drop more. Let me show you why. So like I said, I got parachute rope in the cylinder. I pulled the spark plug out and I filled it with parachute rope as much as I could. There's like 12 feet, there's like 2 feet hanging out still. So I got like 10 feet of rope inside the cylinder. Now, I clicked it over and I watched till I get the top dead center. I have a mark on my balancer. And I seen it coming around, getting close, so I stopped and I checked it. But look, see how this moves a little bit? See that move? It won't fall out. That's the idea of the rope, not letting it fall out. But I need to get it a little tighter because it's actually making it hard to pop the keepers in and out. So I'm going to click it and I'm going to watch the line, make sure I don't go too far. It won't go too far, it'll stop. But that should tighten. That tightened this one up. This one's still a little bit loose. And that's a little bit loose. So I'm going to give it one more tiny boom. That's got to be tight. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. A little bit loose on this one, but this one's definitely tight. So that's 100 times better. I'm not going to tighten it up anymore. I don't want to put stress on anything too much, but that's good. And that'll work. And it's old school. I've seen people, when I was a little kid, doing stuff like this. There's so much that's going on with this motor, but this is because I'm keeping crappy heads because I don't got money for new ones. When I get the money for the new heads, all this is going to change anyways, and I'm going to put a good set of heads on there. I don't know how good, but a couple $1,000s worth of heads. I'll get them and I'll put them on, and then this car's going to giddy up and breathe. At that point, I'll put headers on it too. I don't even have headers on it. We couldn't fit them in there, and the ones that, one company that, back in COVID when I built this, one company was wanting to charge $3,000 for a set of headers. At that point, they said they couldn't get the metal. They were waiting on metal from China at that point. They couldn't get any American metal. So I just found these. These are off of a truck, like a 79 Ford pickup. They had these manifolds, and they dumped out the back. They didn't dump down. You know, they dumped out the back. And I was like, hey, I'm going to make that work. And I bought them on eBay, I think, for like $100. And they're perfect. They work. I made them work. They just fit. I had to grind some stuff and just get them in, and they fit. My plan is, because it is the Jackass, and I like it looking crazy, my plan is to get a set of headers and flip them around and make them come up backwards, come right through the hood. That would be fun, you know. And so we'll see what happens. If I can pull that off, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. If it works, I'm going to go right through the whole thing and get it done. If it don't work, I'm going to have to buy a more expensive tool. If I get the right one, an OEM valve tool for this particular car, for this motor. It's a 385 series 460 big block Ford. So let me see what I can do. They're like 360 pounds. I think they call for 333. This was the best I could do. I think these are probably 10 pounds over, but everything else is right except the install height has to have a shim. It has to have a 60 thousandths shim underneath it, and that's what I'm going to do. I thought it would say 60 thousandths on it. It doesn't. It just has the part number. Anyways, you put the 60 thousandths shim on there and see the inside diameter? See, a little bit loose, but that's okay. We're going to use the same retainers, the same keepers. I do have a new bag of these. Look at this one. This one got destroyed. I don't know what that's about, but it cracked. That would have been smoky. You don't want that. That would have had oil getting in there when you didn't want it in there. It would have got smoky. Here we go. a whole bag of brandy new ones. Let's check them out. I think they'll work. Nope, they don't go all the way down. These are FE. Let's see these. Oh no, they're the same. I guess they're not supposed to go all the way down. So that's that. It went on the boss like a boss, bro. All right, so let's see if we can squash that thing down. Everything is like the way it should be. I hope I didn't cut this thing too short. That my plan was to put a wedge on there. I'd have to make the wedge and weld it, and I probably should take the time to do it because then it would come down square. But I'm going to try to do it this way once. If I have to make the wedge, I will. This might work. Now you can see this tool modified the way we did it, it does work. I was going to take an open end wrench and put it on here and drill a hole in it and do the same thing that this is doing. But I didn't have to because I found this, it's for LS, you know, the newer motors, but it works. See, the keepers are in place. Now when I back this off, they should lock right in. Let's see if they do. And it looks like it did. Now the way you check this is you take a rubber mallet and you give it a whack, boom, and it should seat it. Let me grab a rubber mallet and we'll give it a whack, see what happens. Yep, it's perfect. I really don't have to put any stuff on here like I'm rebuilding the motor, but it has been sitting for a couple months. Maybe I should. Little dab on each side, like as if you were rebuilding it. Can't hurt. Let's do it. We'll use some old school comp cam stuff, the white stuff. You ain't seen that in a long time, right? On both sides there and there. And then we can just put this whole thing back together. Move on to the next one. This way we're not mixing anything up. One down. Hey, I know it's taking a little time, and I don't know how long it's going to take as I go on, but whatever it takes, it's worth it because I can't wait to put my foot in the carburetor and open this thing up and let it rip. I want to hear it, man. I want to feel it. I know it's going to be a big difference. Remember, we changed the rear, too. We changed the 355s to 410s. We changed the cam to, 560 lift, which is pretty amazing. And then we changed the springs. So this should, not give me float when it's up high. And, they say I could get up to 6,900 RPM on this. I don't want to push it that high because I don't think I need to without the right heads. If I get the right heads, I'll do it. But it won't breathe at that anyway. So I'll probably have to shift it like 55, probably the most 55, 5,800. I'm going to have to shift anyways. Everything is not overkill, believe me. If anything, when I change the heads, I might have to beat things up even more. We'll see. A little more, maybe. I just don't want to break it, man. When they break, it sucks. It's like, snap. All right. And that's it. That one was a little tricky, but we did it. Let's give it the hammer test. Perfect. Boy, that's nice, man. Huh. One down. Only what? 14 more to go. We could do it. We could do it. Get off the couch. Get out in the garage. I got to tell myself now. Get out in the garage. Get it done. I got all the parts. There's nothing holding me back but air and opportunity. Let's get it done. If you want to see more of this, subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on all the other platforms we're running out there.